Hi guys. It's been a minute. I think at this point it's probably been a month since I last posted like any piece of content. Now, I said I was taking a break when I hit 1 million, and I said it wasn't going to be a month, but it ended up being a month. I have made videos already, and there are videos that are going to come out right after this one comes out, but I felt like I couldn't post a video until this came out. But it's kind of taken me a while to wrap my head around things, around, you know, the fact that we hit 1 million subscribers. And I think I've been trying to figure out why it's so hard for me to wrap my head around it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story right now about me. I think it's best to start off that I grew up with a mentality that I was going to do what I love, no matter what. What I love changed a lot as I grew up. At one point, I thought I was going to make my own manga. At one point, I thought I was going to be a photographer. And the one that I wanted most of all was to be a YouTuber. In 2013, I discovered YouTube. And I only discovered it because my friend John posted a video of us playing with Beyblades or something, and I wanted to go and watch the video. It was just a spiral from there. I mean, I discovered a ton of YouTubers like Smosh, The Fine Bros, Epic Rap Battles of History, Captain Sparkles, and most importantly, PewDiePie. I cannot express how much I fell in love with just the concept of a YouTuber. I already liked entertaining people when I was younger in pretty much whatever way I could. At one point, I was a magician and I would perform magic tricks. I did it at my middle school talent show, and I eventually did it in front of an office for all of my grandmother's coworkers. Whether it was trying to make little videos on a flip camera that I have and then showing them to people, I just felt like I always did something that was trying to entertain people in some way. So the idea of being able to just make a video and then upload it, and there's a chance that everyone in the world could see it, was pretty insane to me. And the fact that you can make a living doing it. I've obviously watched all sorts of different kinds of YouTube videos over the years, but what stuck out to me the most was gaming YouTube videos. And this is where we get to PewDiePie. I, no joke, when I found PewDiePie, watched every single video. From the most released to the oldest one I could possibly find, I watched every single one. I thought he was the best YouTuber to exist. I thought he was so funny, super entertaining, and I wanted to do pretty much what he was doing, but without the horror. And I know that's pretty funny watching this now. I just wanted to make some kind of content. So I grabbed my laptop that I had that was originally made for school and made my first YouTube channel at 13 years old. And that channel is the channel that you're watching this video on, EmortalMarcus. And of course, I started with Minecraft.
Hey guys, what is up? We are finally back in action with more gaming videos, tutorials, and a whole bunch of other videos.
I pretty much posted videos on any game that I enjoyed playing. A lot of that was Minecraft at the start, but I moved on to a lot of random games too.
I need to give you. Don't let him pray. Don't let him pray.
Yes.
He doesn't deserve to.
Tornado!
And yeah, so here's the demo. Thought you guys could get a first look. So yeah, don't even worry about the writing. I'll explain everything. Hey guys, what is up? So today we are going to play some infamous Second Son, which is going to be a new game to the channel of YouTube and Twitch.
And I was so obsessed with this idea that I wanted to be a YouTuber. Even my family really supported this idea. So eventually, when I was 15, I upgraded to an actual PC thanks to my grandparents and my parents.
Hey guys, what is up? My name is EmortalMarcus, and today I'm going to show you guys my YouTube setup. What I mean by that is where I play my games, or I edit my videos, and where I play my PC games. So here we go. So here's the main desk.
And this helped me produce content way more and become a lot better at it. I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking how bad it is, but considering that I was like 13, 14, I actually don't think it's terrible. I spent so much time learning how to edit, learning how to make thumbnails on Photoshop, even learning how to stream. And I did this all just with YouTube tutorials, really. And I gotta say, I think I got pretty good at editing at one point. This was from 2013 to very early 2017 that I pretty much grinded YouTube out.
Or are you? Just gonna keep looking down. Oh my god! Oh, we could already attack people. We're gonna attack our grandma. That'll inspire kids. Whoa, that was actually pretty cool.
Had to punish someone earlier. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Who are you punishing, bruh?
Personality. Superstar. You're a master of viral videos. That's completely incorrect. Okay, nice. Oh my god! The trucks are landing on us! What? There's another drop! Oh my god! What kind of town is this? They got freaking saw blades and stuff? No, please. Okay. Oh my god, Jimmy! Welcome to the worst video I'm ever going to make on this channel at the moment, and that is The Joy of Creation Reborn. I'm not good with these kind of games. Okay, chill.
During this period, I didn't spend a lot of time like going to hang out with friends. I feel like that's what everybody did after school and on the weekends. I spent a lot of my time playing video games with my friends and then recording those games and editing them and trying to upload them. This was years worth of this. This was pretty much almost all of my entire high school life was doing this. And I made a little over, I want to say 250 videos roundabout. And my peak for this was 2,000 subscribers.
So it is right now January 2nd. This year we hit 2,000 subscribers, which is absolutely freaking insane. That was the year goal that I set out for like 5.
I was averaging like maybe 100 to 200 views per video if I was lucky, but I made it to 2,000 subscribers and I thought that was pretty insane at the time. But when you're younger, there's just some things that you're not thinking about. Reality hit me pretty hard at the beginning of 2017. I'm a senior in high school now, and it's kind of cringe making YouTube videos. I mean, all of my friends knew about it, my family knew about it, but I very much remember this one moment in high school where we had just finished school and one of my friends came up to me and he was like, hey, you know, this kid was playing your video on the front monitor of the classroom and laughing about it, like as in like making fun of me. Now obviously my friends had joked to me about it and stuff at the time, but I didn't really know this kid at all that did this. It got to me. I mean, I'm 17, you know, this is my dream, but then like you got somebody making fun of you for trying to do it. And at the same time, I'm thinking about the fact that this is my senior year in high school. Everyone's going to college next year. Now my plan at the time, if YouTube didn't work out, was I was just gonna go to college for film because it was the closest thing to YouTube pretty much. I already learned how to edit, how to do some Photoshop stuff, things like that. So I thought going to film would probably be the best thing. Again, you know, entertaining people, that whole niche. But I felt like I had to make a decision at the beginning of my senior year, which was either I could continue to grind YouTube and hope that it magically works out and I become a YouTuber before I have to go to college, or I could just enjoy my senior year like everyone else my age, enjoy my youth, I guess. I mean, you always have adults telling you, you know, enjoy while it lasts. And this was pretty much the last year. I felt like I was going to be really close with all of my friends from high school because a lot of them were going to be going away to college. So I gave up on my dream. I gave up on being a YouTuber and just completely stopped uploading. During the entire period that I was making videos during these early years, I had constantly been told that, you know, people were confident that I'd make it as a YouTuber, but also it takes a miracle to be a YouTuber. It takes a miracle for a video to go viral. And, you know, the chances of it happening are so thin, but it could happen. And that is super discouraging. Especially at that time, you know, I feel like the internet isn't what it is content-wise today. You know, today videos go viral left and right every single second. But back then, again, like there was only so many names known as YouTubers and as influencers. It was still somewhat new compared to now. But yeah, I gave up. I decided to enjoy my senior year. You know, I hung out with my friends all the time, made tons and tons of great memories. I don't regret that. I also didn't entirely give up on like my entire creative side. I started to do photography around this time, and I would always take photos from my friends' Instagrams and stuff and do cool edits on them, you know, etc., etc. And then by the time that my senior year was over and it was time to, you know, make a decision about college and stuff like that, I was originally going to go to a college in Georgia for film that I got accepted to, but I didn't get accepted to the actual actual school that I wanted to go to if I had to go to college. So I decided that I would just go to community school locally so I could still be home and around my parents. And I would kind of grind and get my grades up. And then once my grades were high enough, then I would apply to the school I want to go to again and hopefully get accepted. But then a really big twist happened, which I think if this didn't happen, I don't think there's any chance that I'd be here today. So I started college and I was like a month in, and then I had a family member offer me an insane job opportunity, being an apprentice engineer. So for those of you that don't know, that means that I'd be working in a building and I'd be working on plumbing, electrical, HVAC systems, doing inspection type work, a bunch of things like that. And it was an apprentice position, which means that I would be learning on the job and I would have to go to union classes. Yes, it was a union job too, but I'd have to go to union classes like once a week and I would learn more and eventually be able to move up in position. And it was pretty much like if you got this job, as long as you didn't fuck up, you were set. And I was lucky enough to get this opportunity for a building that you got a lot of money doing this as a starting position. So honestly, I had zero passion for this. I do not give about engineering or anything like that. I like working on a computer and with cameras. That has nothing to do, you know, it's totally separate. Why would I did it. I took the job. And I mostly took it because, again, the money, you know what I mean? I think we all grow up in a world, and I think everybody can understand that we grow up in a world where money is everything, right? Money helps you do all the things you want. Money is happiness, right? And honestly, I think my family and everybody I knew would have looked at me like I was crazy if I didn't take that opportunity. I mean, so many people would love an opportunity like that. So I took it. And not for me. I'm gonna say these things, and it's not because I want you to feel bad for me, like, oh no, I had a job that made money, but it was so hard. There's a point to this. I had a pretty brutal shift. I had a swing shift, which means you're not just like a, you know, like a 8 to 4 person. You're 8 to 4, then 12 to 8, then 4 to 12, and it just goes around throughout the week. And my days off were Wednesday and Thursday, but I didn't really count Thursdays off because I'd have to go in for the 12 to 8 on Friday, so I was still taking up a few hours of my Thursday. But the shift was pretty brutal. And I mean, I'm somebody that has trouble with sleep now, and I do YouTube, so already having sleep problems and then not even having a consistent sleep schedule just made me a mess. And the job itself, I was pretty much fixing toilets, changing lights, mopping floors, dealing with annoyed office workers. You know, if they had an issue in their cubicle or something, or with the lights, I'd have to go and fix them. And I wouldn't say the job wasn't hard. It was just the fact that I hated doing it. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And in the beginning, you know, it was kind of like, all right, just toughen it up and get through it. But I can't express how much I hated this. Like, yeah, I'd be making a lot of money, but I'm gonna be hating 1/3 of my life during that time. It just didn't make sense to me. And all of my friends, when they were doing something, I'd have to miss out because of my sleep schedule. I specifically remember calling out of work one time because I wanted to just make an event that my friend had, because I just hadn't been making it to any events that had gone on. And when I came back into work, I was literally torn apart in front of everybody, shouted at, the whole thing. Meanwhile, my coworkers would do it to me all the time, and I would always get screwed on my shifts. But I was literally living off of like energy drinks just to get by at this time because my sleep schedule was so destroyed. And I eventually became like a horrible person during this time too. I was arguing with my parents a ton, literally not speaking to them on occasions. That's very much not like me. I would of course argue with my parents, but it'd be something that would, you know, fly by. I remember at one point going 2 weeks without speaking to them. I was fighting with like everybody I knew. I was just like a really angry person all the time. But eventually, I hit a breaking point. I was exhausted, burned out, angry. I hated my commute to work. I hated work. I hated the classes I had to take. I hated a lot of the people that I had to work with. I hated the lack of sleep. And I think most importantly, I hated myself at this point because I kept reflecting back on the decisions I made. The fact that I decided to settle and take a job that I hated just because of the money. And the fact that I gave up on my YouTube dream in my senior year. The fact that I didn't actually try to do what I really wanted to do. I became the thing that I didn't want to be. Growing up, all I saw was people doing jobs that they didn't actually want to do and just doing it for money because it was helping them get by. And I told myself I wouldn't do that, and here I am doing that. So I became then really depressed. I just felt like there was no way out, and there was, you know, my parents would have thought I was crazy to leave that job. Everybody would have thought I was crazy to leave that job. This is a bit of a side note. I wrote a whole like script for this video, and I realized I didn't want to read it word for word. And this next part, I'm almost a bit like nervous to put that out on the internet. But something I've always really admired about some content creators is how open they could be and how honest they could be about things that they're going through and things like that. And that's what I wanted to do here. So during this time when I was like at my lowest at this job, I did something I never thought I would do, and I tried to hurt myself. I'm not gonna go into detail, but up until that point in my life, I never understood why people hurt themselves or why people did anything like that. But I actually tried to do this, and I think that was like my final breaking point. I felt like I needed a reset. Like I could not do this. I was never going to be happy or satisfied again if I continued this. So I decided to leave that job. I think it was really hard for me to explain this to my parents because, again, we all grow up in a world where money is happiness, and without money, you can't be happy. So the fact that I was leaving a job that set me up for life, that would have made me financially okay, was, I think, a hard thing for them to grasp. And I was so nervous to actually say it to them that I remember I wrote a letter saying it. And my parents understood at that point, I think. I said that I want to leave this job, go back to college, and try again. Now, at this point, I still thought the YouTube job, you know, being a YouTuber was still just like a dream thing, a miracle. Again, that's all I was told all the time, was how it's a miracle. You know, you just have to get lucky, get a viral video, and then it happens. But the chances of that happening are so thin. So I said I would go back to college for photography this time, try again, see how it goes. So I left that job behind. And I do want to say I am very thankful that that family member gave me that job opportunity. It just wasn't for me. I'm sure there are people that would have been satisfied and would have been okay with that. I'm not that person. It just wasn't for me. So I went back to college for photography. I got a job at a pizzeria doing delivery. And that's what I did for a little while. Still not satisfied. At this point, I was a lot happier, obviously, because, you know, I was going to college for photography, something that I enjoy. And this went on for quite a while until COVID hit. Now, when COVID hit, my pizzeria closed. I mean, everybody in the world, I felt like, was scared. We were under lockdown. So I spent months just basically stuck inside. So no job, and my college was a mess. My college truly fumbled the switch to online. I remember one of my first classes, my teacher muted for like 30 minutes, I think, because they just didn't understand how Zoom and stuff worked. Granted, they were a very old teacher, but it was still just so ridiculous to me, the amount of things that were going on with all the Zoom. I just felt like I wasn't getting my money's worth, and I was paying for my own college at this point. And again, other than college, all I was doing was just playing games inside with my friends, because there really was nothing else to do because of lockdown. So one day, while playing with my friends, one of my friends starts streaming, and they start streaming on Twitch, and that's my friend Ren. And one day I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go check out his stream, you know, go support. And I see that he has 20 viewers on Twitch, and I was mind blown by this, because it showed me that I was trying to be a YouTuber back in 2013, and people said that it took a miracle, that it was so hard to do, that it was barely possible. But now in 2020, when there are so many more people trying to do it, and it's still possible. Ren showed me that it was still possible to grow an audience. So I started to stream on Twitch, starting from zero all over again, totally forgetting about the YouTube channel right now. I literally started off streaming on Twitch playing this game called Clone Drone in the Danger Zone, which is this super goofy game where you play as a robot, but if anybody comes into your Twitch chat, they can play as the other robots or spawn robots in the game with you, and then those robots will try to kill you, and you gotta try to kill them. Really cool concept, but that's pretty much what I played at the start. I'm not gonna die here. There's just no way. Shout out to Ren, because Ren rated me and helped me get some of my first early viewers, but I still had maybe between like 1 and 5 viewers for so long, and those were just my friends and then some of the people that Ren rated me with. So I tried to experiment with different games. I played Among Us, Phasmophobia,
Armand? Where did he die?
He's upstairs. Look at him. Look at him.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Call of Duty.
Oh no. No. Oh my god, dude. No way. Nobody saw that. None of you saw that.
Minecraft.
Oh! Oh no!
Pretty much anything that I thought could get some traction. But the truth is, and this goes out for all of you trying to be content creators, Twitch does not help you grow. You have to grow outside of Twitch so you could bring people to your Twitch. This is where TikTok comes in. I already had a TikTok already, but I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take some clips from my stream and post them. Now, this wasn't some kind of miracle. I didn't just post a TikTok and then, oh my god, it blew up and everything went well. No. I posted maybe 50 TikToks, if not more than that. That got maybe like 100, 200 views each, if I even got that lucky. But I was just trying to grind out TikToks of just all my funniest moments. And at the same time, while on Twitch, I remember I made it like a follower goal. Like I think if I hit 100 followers on Twitch, I would play Outlast. And that was because Halloween was coming up and, you know, scary vibes. And that was the best decision I've ever made.
You gotta be. Gotta be. Gotta be. No.
I played Outlast and it was one of my favorite games ever, period. So I decided to then play Alien Isolation. And then Dead of Night.
I think if I leave and I look to my right, the ghosts should be there.
This won't hurt Jimmy.
And then it became a thing where like all I was doing was playing horror games. Now you may remember, this was taking place during COVID, but eventually as time went on, you know, the lockdown was lifted and people were allowed to go out again and jobs. So at this point, my pizzeria job was still like, the pizzeria still wasn't open yet. So I decided to do Uber Eats instead because it was still like pizza delivery, but just different types of food. Now, the good thing about this was that I could kind of work when I wanted to in a way. I would just work during the peak hours of like breakfast, lunch, dinner, stuff like that. So that's what I did. I basically went to work in the morning, did Uber Eats, came home, streamed, and then I made a few clips from my stream and then I'd post them on TikTok. And I did this every day. And then that's when, finally, the miracle happened. I posted this stupid TikTok of me getting scared by a spider in Grounded. $2 million views. I went from having my highest video have 5,000 views to now 2 million views. Granted, even though this video got a lot of views, a lot of the comments were filled with a ton of hate because people were saying that I was being over dramatic about the spider. But what's important was that it showed me the potential of TikTok. The fact that videos can go viral. And also this clip going viral is what started to bring people into the Twitch stream. It only brought in like a few people, like maybe 3 or 4, but it showed me that people will come from TikTok to your Twitch. And now I did it. So how hard would it be for me to do it again? So the grind was crazy. After every stream, I tried to scroll through my stream, find the best 3 clips. By the way, thank you to my mods. I started getting mods around this point. Shout out to my mods, Yali, Maria, Shian, Joss, and Cole, because my mods would try to help me by finding the best clips during the stream. And then I would go edit them into TikToks, try to make them the best that they possibly could, and upload all of them the next day. And this process, again, just repeated every day. We're streaming for around like 2 to 3 hours every day, making clips and then putting them out. And then boom, another viral TikTok.
This time we decided tackle the monster.
All right.
Where are you? Isaac's dead?
Whoa! I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Guys, this better not be all up to me. Hi. Wait, you're both dead?
This time, this one only had 500,000 views, but that's still a ton of views. But it still showed me that this can happen again and again and again. Just gotta keep grinding, keep going at it. And this time, the comments weren't just being mean to me about being overdramatic about a spider. They were actually asking for a longer video. They necessarily couldn't make the streams, or I already streamed that game, so I wasn't playing it again. So they wanted to see a YouTube video of it. So I decided to bring back the EmortalMarcus YouTube channel. Decided to wipe the dust off of that thing and bring it back to life. So now, every time a TikTok would pop off and get a good amount of views, I would then quickly make a YouTube video of it and post it onto the channel so people could watch it. And it took me 4 years to get to 2,000 subscribers, remember? I made it to 10,000 subscribers so quickly after that. And I'm talking every video that I'd posted like 4 videos. They all had like 10,000 views or more. It was crazy to me how much easier it was now than it was back then for me. And I also now started to make a little bit of money doing this. You know, a few hundred here and there every month. And by a few hundred, I mean like maybe like 200, 100, 200. So I talked to my parents this time. Instead of being too afraid to talk to them like I was with the engineering job, I sat down with them and I said, hey, this is my dream. You guys know this has been my dream since I was younger. Can I take a year off of college to see how well this goes? And can I stop doing the Uber Eats and just try to go all in on this? No. The year off of college, they kind of understood because, again, like college was still going through the COVID times for this and still trying to adapt to things, and it still kind of sucked. But leaving the Uber Eats thing, they were like, nah, you got to still keep working and making money every month. And the deal was that if I could make as much money streaming as I was doing Uber Eats, then I could stop doing Uber Eats. But until then, I'd have to continue doing it. So I said deal. And again, I'm going to keep saying grind because that is what it was for me. But I just kept doing this. Uber Eats, stream, make TikToks, and YouTube videos now. And now the channel started to blow up a lot more. I think over a year, I eventually got to 30,000 subscribers, and every time a TikTok went big, I made a YouTube video for it. And that video would maybe get a few thousand views. It could have got 10,000 or maybe even 20,000 views, and things were growing. And I think another interesting thing that I think people start to like about my videos was my neck breaking. Howdy, mechanic. What's this? People in my comments started saying it was whiplash or that I broke my neck. Some people also think I faked those jump scare reactions. I've never faked a jump scare reaction. I just want to make that clear. I actually react like that. Like physically, if somebody were to scare me in real life, I would like do something similar to that. I mean, nowadays I don't react like that as much because I feel like I'm becoming a little numb to jump scares now, but those were never fake. I just want to make that very clear. So this cycle and this grind ended up going on further than a year and ended up going on for 2 years, and my parents were still seeing the potential in it, but not everything was as good as it seems. The channel was still growing, still gaining subscribers. I was at like 50 to 60 viewers on Twitch at this point, which was pretty much my peak over there. And every time I got a viral TikTok, I made the YouTube video for it, and the YouTube video would get a lot of views. But the problem was, I felt like people weren't coming back to the channel. People would go watch the YouTube video and subscribe, but it felt like if I uploaded a video without a viral TikTok, the video just wouldn't do good. And it's not really good if you're making a YouTube channel and you have like 30,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers, but getting like less than 1,000 views. It just didn't feel sustainable to me. And I still felt like I was at this point where I was like getting to my dream, like seeing good numbers, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And eventually I did kind of hit my goal of being able to stop doing Uber Eats because I reached, I think I was supposed to reach like $2,000 a month. I think I only reached around doing $1,000 a month from streaming and stuff, but still it was money that I was making doing something I really enjoyed, but it wasn't sustainable. I was not going to be able to move out on $1,000 a month. I wasn't going to be able to take care of myself. I was still living with my parents. And then just when things were looking bad, something pretty random happened. Now, of course, at this point, I was just doing only horror content, and somebody recommended to me that I should check out this website called Liminal Land, which is an ARG that was created by Nexpo and Nick Crowley. I'd never done content like this before. I'd never checked out an ARG. So really, all I did was I went on stream and I just explored the website, tried to figure out the story, tried to watch all the videos for it, and I thought it was super cool and interesting, so I made a YouTube video of it. And I posted a few TikToks of it as well. 25 million views. That's insane. Actually nuts. And the YouTube video, it's 70,000 views. It was the most I'd ever gotten on anything. It was the highest numbers I'd ever seen. But I still felt like, yes, these numbers are high, but the same thing's just gonna happen again. People are coming to the channel, people are subscribing, watching the video, but they're not gonna come back. And then the thing that happened that brought so many of you here. Before we start today's video, what is analog horror? Analog horror is a subgenre of horror that uses distorted graphics, cryptic messages, and visual styles similar to late 20th century television. Many analog horror series have popped up in the last couple of years, such as The Backrooms, The Mandela Catalog, Local 58, and many, many more. Today, we're going to explore a bit of a lesser known series. It's called Vita Carnis. Vita Carnis? Vita Carnis? I think it's Vita Carnis. I hope. I was on Twitch streaming when shout out to Sam Witch said you should watch this analog horror series called Vita Carnis. Up until this point, I hadn't really watched analog horror like that. I'd watched some of the Mandela Catalog here and there and went over some of Kane's Backrooms videos, but I never like dived into them like I do now. Like I kind of just was a basic reactor and just react to them. It was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Oh, maybe that was what it was. All right, see ya. But for Vita Carnis, I don't know, I just wanted to do something different. So when I watched through that series, I decided to put intros in between each of the videos, which was, I don't know, it was just more fun for me. And I made an actual, solid intro for that video. And I felt like I really tried to dive a bit more deeper into what the actual story was with this one. And it just went crazy from there. The Liminal Land video continued to blow up, and then Vita Carnis blew up crazy. It felt like I went from 70,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers overnight. I wasn't even home when it happened. I was actually at PAX East, which is a convention. I was in the hotel room when I hit 100K.
It's March 25th. It is 12:12 in the morning, and I'm just letting it hit me now that I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hopefully eventually we'll hit that big 1 million, which for the last 3 years I never even thought about that number because I didn't think it was possible. But now we're more than 1/10 of the way there. Man, I just think anything's possible now. Check this out. We're already at 102,711. I never thought that'd be me. I never thought that'd be me with 6 digits next to their name.
And it was mind-blowing to me. The demand for more videos became so high that I decided to record another part of the Liminal Land in my hotel room on my laptop and uploading it with like 2 internet speed or whatever it was. But again, I just felt like, what if this is another fluke? Like, what if people still aren't going to stay? And then I decided to post a random horror gaming video, and the views stayed consistent. Sure, they weren't as big as Liminal Land's video or Vita Carnis's video, but they were still way more than usual. They were like 20K and no viral TikTok with it. And then of course I made the part 2 to Vita Carnis, which also did incredibly well. So I thought, all right, this is what people like. This is what people want to see. They want to see me go over analog horror series, and they want to see me go over ARGs. So let's just do more of that. And I did it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Like you know where this is going. And I decided to explore more series, dive into more lore, and all sorts of things like that. And then we hit 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K, and it was crazy. I went from being a 13-year-old kid that was super happy to hit 2,000 subscribers and never think I would hit 100K, to then hitting 100K, and then now it was like I could see 1 million at the end of the tunnel. But then some things started to change. It's not all as like happy and great as you think. There are struggles and things along the way to get here. It wasn't just, great, I made a video, all right, cool, it's out, let's go. I think this slowly started to build up over time. But hate comments. I became super critical of myself. I'd been getting hate comments since day one. I mean, since the grounded TikTok, people were on me. But for some reason around this time, they really started to impact me a lot. People making fun of my looks, my voice, my personality. But what really upset me the most was they were criticizing my content. A few comments were, guy with a webcam pointed at him, watching full videos, long bouts of silence, weak commentary, and the theory section is the shortest part. Extremely low effort content. 90% of it is just watching the series without pausing or giving meaningful input. This guy talks too much. Just play the video. You're making merch when all you do is steal other people's content. This is so... I mean, honestly, that last one's kind of funny. But those stuck with me a lot. Those comments made me overthink every single thing I did online. I stopped posting as consistently. I started believing I wasn't a good YouTuber, that I didn't deserve the subscribers or the views I was getting. And that led to what I learned is imposter syndrome. Every time I've posted or every time I tried to record, It almost felt like I was faking it, and every time I uploaded or posted anything, it felt like I was begging for approval. I became obsessed with the feedback on my videos. I would check Twitter, TikTok, Reddit constantly. For those of you that may not know, there's this app called YouTube Studio, which is pretty much the YouTube app, but it tells you all of your YouTube stats, your views, subscribers, all that, comments. I began refreshing this app more than hourly. Every time I posted a video, I was constantly watching the numbers, reading every comment, and anytime something looked off or like a video was underperforming, I'd spiral. I remember when I hit 600K, I refreshed the app, saw the number 600K, and I just started crying. And it wasn't out of joy, but it was because I felt like I didn't deserve it. No matter how much love, how many good comments there were, it was like I just couldn't see them. All I could focus on was the negativity. And this went on pretty badly until literally like maybe 3 months ago. I mean, it even still happens occasionally to me. It's a really strange feeling to love making the content that you do, to have people constantly asking for more, but you still convince yourself that everyone hates you for it. I was convinced that outside of my main audience that the internet just hated me, and it was all just because I kept reading just anything that criticized me, whether I thought that they were right or wrong. It just sticks with you. But there is a positive to this. I decided that the only way that I could counter those comments was to just try and make the content better. Even I will somewhat agree that I felt like I was just pushing out analog horror videos constantly and may have not been putting as much effort as I could have been into most of them. So I started to go straight up against the criticism. I started talking more in my analog horror videos. I started trying to theorize more, trying to dive deeper into the lore. I want to show more love and respect to the actual creators of these analog horror series. I started actively promoting their work, shouting out their merch, talking about their other projects, encouraging viewers to watch the series before I even went over it. I even sometimes delay my own uploads just so that I hope that my viewers will go and watch the original first before watching it with me. I know it might not necessarily make a huge difference, but I still think it does something. I even helped Vintage 8 launch their comic book double feature Kickstarter, and I was hugely happy about that and hugely happy at how well that went. So honestly, this goes for any analog horror creator that I have gone over or may go over in the future. If you ever need anything, help promoting a project, help promoting merch, feedback, you need help funding something, please reach out. I'm always down to support you. And like I said, I started talking a lot more during my videos too. I really hated that people felt like I was just like watching the videos and not actually putting anything into them. So I started trying to talk a lot more, trying to explain things a lot more. Some people say I talk too much. Just shut up. Those comments I really can't take seriously, because that's literally the point of my channel, is I'm going to talk about these things while watching them. If you don't want the little guy talking in the top right corner, maybe you should go watch the original video. And I think the most important change I made was the intros, which is the thing that you guys have shown the most love to. I like making the intros just because it's really fun for me. Not only are they fun to make, but I think they also help introduce new viewers to the story and the world of that series. I know they could be goofy and a little cringe sometimes, but that's kind of the point, is to just have fun with it. And another thing I realized was I've talked to a lot of the analog horror creators that I've gone over before, and pretty much every time the feedback has been positive. Whether it's them commenting on the video saying that they enjoyed it, or thanking me for going over the series, or just cool conversations with them in DMs, it's really meant the world to me that they have appreciated my videos that I've done on them. So at the end of the day, why am I caring about these comments saying that I'm stealing content or doing all this and letting these people judge me, when the actual content creators I'm going over don't even care and they are enjoying it too? And again, this goes for any analog horror creator that I've gone over or will go over in the future. If you ever have a problem with any of the content I make, just message me and we'll talk about it. Again, I want to support you guys as much as I can, however that works. And a huge shout out to Immortal Girlfriend, because during all of this like mental stuff that I was going through, she was super helpful and just bringing me down to earth and trying to calm me down and make me okay again. So big shout out to Immortal Girlfriend. So now we're gonna fast forward a little bit to 900,000. I've been terrified of hitting 1 million subscribers just because I simply did not know what was going to happen in my head. Again, this is a dream that I've wanted since I was 13 years old. At one point, I had accepted that it was never going to happen, got mad at myself for not trying enough, thought that I didn't deserve it. I've experienced so many different thoughts about it leading up to this moment. Would my imposter syndrome kick back in? Would I break down crying when it happened? Would I feel nothing? Well, What happened? Ding, ding, ding. Barely any reaction. I think I'd overthought it so much up until that point that I just, my brain kind of shut down a little bit. I actually cried a few times earlier that week just because I felt so overwhelmed by the thought of it. So I think by the time it happened, like I said, my brain just went like just nothing. But if there's any moments that I was 100% sure that something would happen, if it didn't happen there, it was when I received the physical item that represented that number. First of all, can we just acknowledge the box that this thing came in? This is how this actually came. This tape was already ripped. Come on. There it is. And you'll see there's some kind of I don't even know if that's dirt, whatever that is there. Yeah, there's like some kind of like, I guess when they wiped it after it was etched in. I don't know what I gotta wash it with to get rid of that. But here it is. Presented to EmortalMarcus for passing 1 million subscribers. I thought for sure that getting this would help me mentally understand hitting 1 million. But that wasn't true. I opened it. I'm happy I got it. I mean, I remember being, when I was like 14, like I made the silver and gold play button my background on my laptop because I wanted them so bad. And I think that I thought when I hit it, there was just gonna be this moment of, I guess, relief or some insane spike of happiness. But I think I'm not there because I just don't think I felt like I've made an impact yet. And I think I felt like I would have made one at this point. But I'm incredibly thankful to every single person watching this, to every single person that's ever clicked on any video that I've ever posted, that's ever liked, that's ever commented, that's ever done anything to support me and get me to this point. I am so thankful for you because you helped my dream come true. So the whole point of my story and why I told you everything is because I think you should take that risk. If there's anything that you truly want to do, that you truly want to be, you should go for it with everything that you have. Because if you don't, you might eventually regret that you never did. And I was horrified of that regret. I would have rather tried to make this work out and failed than to have never tried at all. If I would have just gave up and said, yeah, no, there's no chance in that. It's not gonna happen. If I would have just listened to everybody that said, it takes a miracle to be a YouTuber, it takes a miracle to do that, it's so hard to do that, why would you ever try? I would never be where I am now. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't, because you can. You can prove them wrong. Even if there's a chance that it doesn't work out, you know that you tried, and you know that you tried your hardest to do it, and you will never live with that regret. So that's the lesson here, is to take a risk on yourself and try to do what you love and whatever makes you happy. I don't think anybody should ever live doing something that they hate doing. I understand that sometimes we have to make things work, but if you can, if you have the ability to, you should do what you love forever. Now, I'm also not saying that I hit the miracle point, that I'm forever happy and, you know, everything's sunshine and daisies. There are so many things that I've gone through in this story, so many struggles that I've been through with myself that maybe one day I'll open up about, but today's not the day for that. And again, like I said, I don't feel like I've made a huge impact yet. And I want to make sure that I do that. I want to make sure that my content helping people get through things and making people happier. And I want to do that in whatever way I can. My plans going forward are obviously to continue the content I'm doing and to make it better and better. But I also want to expand out of analog horror. I already upload horror games on this channel, but I have a whole second channel, which I will show you right here, and the link to it will be in the description. But I want to do a lot more on there outside of horror in general, whether that's just me playing other games, doing vlogs, documenting my journey. I just want to do more. I want to create more, I want to be more, and I want to help people more in whatever way that is. I want to start doing charity streams over here on YouTube once a month, where all the money goes to charity and helps out of some kind of cause. I want to eventually make my merch, which should hopefully be coming out sometime soon. I know people have been asking for it for a long time, and I just want to continue bettering myself. I'm being completely honest, I'm not entirely happy with where I am. Physically is one thing. I'm not in the greatest of shape. That's something I want to work on. Socially, I think because I'm inside so much and I'm so locked to my computer that I have like a social anxiety now. So I'd like to work on that. There's a lot of things that I want to work on, and I hope that you could come with me on this journey together as we try to do that. But again, I hope you listen to my story, and I hope you learn something from it, and I hope you try to do whatever's best for you too. Thank you again so much for watching and for supporting me in every way that you have, because I never thought I would ever receive this, and you guys made it possible. You guys helped a dream come true. So thank you, and I'll see you guys at 10 million.